What's going on YouTube? This is Dan Leone, Plastic Model Building 101. And as I mentioned in my previous videos about different tools to use when assembling your model, the model we're going to be building is going to be the A6M3 Japanese Zero by Tamiya. Now, before we get started, before we get, when you want to start painting and start assembling your model, when you open the kit, anytime when you get the parts and pieces out, when you run your finger through, I'll give you a good example. This up, and it's also good practice to throw all your plastic bags away. When the plastic is in the molds under a high temperature, it's poured into the molds, just like when you pour cupcakes in a cupcake mold or we bake a cake and so forth. Before you do, you want to spray the mold with a mold release agent, and so that way it does not stick to the mold release. When you run your finger, you always feel that there's a thin film of oil, and it's always good practice to wash your parts and pieces, because you want to have a good bond not only with the model coming together with the glue, but also with the paint as well. Now, as I mentioned before in my previous videos, I talked about different methods how you can clean parts. And the parts, what I do, I either have a spray bottle with some denatured alcohol, and I spray them and just let it evaporate, and it dries a lot quicker. Or what I also do is I use some mild soap detergent, Dawn. You can get this at any store, hardware store. Like I got this at Home Depot where I work. Also, you can get this at any supermarket, dollar store. And believe me, it's very inexpensive. So I am going to flip this camera around and show you how we're going to clean our part. Now I get the part, and I have here some water with some Dawn in here, and what I do is I dunk it in there real good, and then I get my brush. Unfortunately, my brush is not charged, so that's why it's not working. And I just run it through very carefully. It doesn't have to be pretty. Just make sure you don't break any of the parts and pieces, and sometimes there are some parts that may be hanging, and if you break them and goes down the drain, that can be bad news. So I just do like that. Flip it around. Okay, and then what I do, flip this around, and I just dunk it, rinse the part, and as you can see, if I run my finger, I hear a squeaky noise, like that. Guess what? The part's clean. So I did these parts previously, and so these are good to go. So that's how you clean your model parts. So anyway, I'm going to repeat this process. I'm not going to take it most of the time, but it's pretty straightforward kind of deal. Also, before I close, I also have these strainers here too, in case if I do have some loose parts. I put these in the strainer here and dunk them in there, swish them around, scrub them around, and once that's done, take them out, put them in the box, and of course this is no good, so I throw it away. So anyway, so that's pretty much it, and that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And until next time, this is Dan Leone, Plastic Model Building 101. Have a great night.